Hi, this is Diana from Yarneddies Crochet, and today we have a really fun project. We have the Scrappy Chunky Beanie, and this is a beginner-friendly, cozy beanie, and it's perfect scrap buster for all those partial skeins or cakes of your 3 and 4 weight yarns. This hat is made with a top-down construction method, and the pattern and tutorial instructions are in U.S. crochet terms. As you watch the tutorial, be sure to use the gear icon to slow down or speed up the playback as you need. Also, if you would, please like and subscribe so others needing help learning to crochet can find my content. I really appreciate that. This is a woman's size medium, but during the video, I will provide information you will need to alter the size of your hat. So today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about supplies because these projects combine scraps, and I want to give you some tips on how to combine your scraps or partial skeins. I should say it's partial skeins, but you can use small leftover scraps as well. So this particular beanie was made with I had a partial skein of this DK Color Fusion in vintage, and I had like an extra 100 yards, and I combined this with Bernat Super Value Taupe Heather. I had a small leftover 100 yard little ball left over from a skein, and this came out really, really pretty. For this one, I'm going to save this one for the last. This one, I had frogged a sweater that was made with Red Heart Super Saver Aran Fleck. I'd frogged it and made a cake of the yarn, and I combined that with Ferris wheel. I don't know if you may or may not be familiar with Ferris wheel yarn. I had a partial cake of Ferris wheel, and it was in the colorway Morning Java. It kind of looks like this is part of it. It looks like this. I have 2 little small bits. I think actually I could combine this with another 3 weight yarn and make another hat. But this, I just combined those scraps together to make this hat. I don't even have the ends sewn in yet. This is really, really pretty. And this one also used the Morning Java. It's really dark. The Morning Java, but I used it with black. As you can see, it's quite dark. This hat, I had a small leftover. I had a couple of skeins of this Color Fusion in Cotton Candy, and I had a small amount left over, so I combined this, a partial ball of Cotton Candy. This is what it looks like. And I combined it with just some random blue colors that I had. I think the top is in a Bernat Super Value lavender. And then after the lavender, I used Bernat Super Value cornflower. And at the end, at the last 3 or 4 rows, I used Bernat Super Value Steel Blue Heather. So I was able to combine all those yarns and make this hat, and it turned out really, really nice. So today we're going to use the same kind of concept, and we're going to combine some yarns. I'm going to actually use a combination of 3 weight yarns. I have a little bit of this Color Fusion in Cotton Candy left over, and I have some this is Lion Brand Mandala. I don't remember the color, but it's a 3 weight yarn. It's kind of looks pretty with that. And then also this is a Premier DK. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe celery. I can't remember. But I'm going to combine these 3 weights together with whatever I have left over here in my 4 weight yarns to make a hat. So those are the supplies that we're going to use today. As far as yarn. Now, as far as hooks go, you're going to need some different hooks. Because we're using 2 yarns together, we're going to use a 6.5 millimeter hook for most of the hat, the crown and part of the sides of the hat. Then I switched to a 6mm or J hook. And then for the very last edge, because I like to tighten up the last edge, I use a 5.5mm hook. You're also going to need at least one stitch marker. I think I'm going to pull out one of my jumbo Clover stitch markers. I love these because the stitches are going to be thicker because it's a chunky hat. So I'm going to put that aside. And then you're going to need at least a bent tip yarn needle, because you are going to have some ends, because we're using scraps and we're using partial skein. So you are going to have ends to weave in. Scissors, and then also we still need some device to measure our crown as we're working. So we have all of our supplies ready to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the setup. And I need to combine, and I'm going to start with this 3-weight yarn and a 4-weight yarn. And I think I'm going to start with this steel blue heather. And we're going to create our crown, start to create our crown. Now that I've wrangled my yarn, I just wanted to let you know too that you probably won't need the written pattern for this hat, but because I'm going to show you each line of instruction within the video itself. But if you want the free PDF, let me know in the comments, and I will definitely post a link for you, because I do have a written free pattern. So we're going to start with our setup. So you can chain 4 and slip stitch to form a ring, or you can use a magic circle. And I prefer a magic circle, so that's what I'm going to do. And with using 2 yarns, it gets to be a little tricky, but you'll be able to do it. Okay, so I formed my magic ring. I'm going to do 1 extra chain, and I'm going to work 10 double crochets into the ring. As you're working with 2 yarns, you're going to have to really pay attention to your tension, because you don't want one yarn to be loosey-goosey and one yarn to be tight. So it does take a little bit of practice. But you'll be able to do it, I think. So go ahead and work those 10 double crochets into your center of your loop or your ring, and I will meet you at the end for the join. Okay, we made it all the way around, and I untangled my tail from my magic ring. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit, and then I'm going to join. And as you join, be careful, make sure you get both yarns tighten it up just a little bit more. Okay, and now we are ready for round 2. And stick with me throughout this round, because you're going to be working 2 double crochets into some stitches and 3 double crochets into the others. And so you don't make yourself crazy, just stick with me throughout the round. So you're going to chain 1 in the first stitch and make sure you get underneath all the yarns. You're going to work 2 double crochets. In the second stitch, you're going to work 3 double crochets. There's 2, and there's 3. In the next 2 stitches, you're going to work 2 double crochets in each of the next 2 stitches. Work 3 double crochets into the next. Into each of the next 2 stitches, you're going to work 2 double crochets. In the next stitch, work 3 double crochets. In the next stitch, work 2. In the last stitch, work 3 double crochets. Now, because I've chained 1, my first stitch, it looks like it's laying down a little bit. You're going to slip stitch join into that first stitch. Make sure you get all the yarns, both yarns. Okay, so now we are ready for round 3. And before I move on to round 3, I want to make sure that you are aware that there are 24 double crochets in round 2. In round 3, you're going to bring up your loop, chain 1, and in the first stitch, you're going to work 1 double crochet. In the next, you're going to work 2. And that's the pattern. In the next stitch, 1, in the next stitch, 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. That's the pattern. Go ahead and complete all your stitches all the way around. At the end, you should have 36 double crochets. So I'll meet you at the end for the join. Okay, we've made it to the end of round 3. I just need to complete my last stitch. I need to add 2 double crochets into the last stitch, and I have 36 stitches around. I'm going to slip stitch join, and then I'm going to quickly measure, make sure that my crown is on track. Should be about 4.5 inches. And I'm right there. Perfect. Now, if you've used 2 4-weight yarns, your crown is going to be bigger. That's why I combined the 3 and the 4-weight to continue to get the size that I wanted for the hat. So we can move on to round 4. Round 4 is an easy round. It is a no increase round. So pull up the loop, chain 1, and you're simply going to work 1 double crochet into each stitch around. The previous round had 36 stitches, so when you're done with this round, you should have 36 stitches all the way around. Go ahead and complete your no increase round, and I will meet you at the end for the join. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 4. I'm going to slip stitch join. And I've decided that I would like to change my 3-weight yarn to this color changing yarn, this scrap partial skein of the Color Fusion. I'm going to go ahead and complete 1 double crochet into the first stitch. This is round 5, and actually the first stitch has 2 double crochets. What I'm going to do is, this is the way I join my yarns when I'm using multiple yarns in a hat project. I leave myself a tail of the yarn that I'm changing. I clip it. Then I attach my new yarn with a knot. And I know if you've watched any of my videos in the past, I'm kind of knot averse, but I'll show you what I do. So I leave myself long tails, and I basically make a square knot with the 2 yarns. And I pull it very tight. Ooh, see, that comes out. That's pretty good. And then, as I'm working, let me move this yarn out of the way. As I'm working, I will end up weaving in the tails of that knot. Because I don't trust knots, I'm going to use the knot because it makes a smoother join, and it really doesn't show. A square knot doesn't show. There's other ways of making knots that absolutely do show, but this doesn't really show that much. And I can weave in the tails, and I can know that the ends are woven in securely and nothing's going to come out. So let's go ahead and make that second double crochet. This is round 5. So the first stitch in round 5, you're going to work 2 double crochets in the first stitch. And then in the next 2 stitches, you're going to work 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And pretty soon I'm going to encounter my knot. And separate this out a little bit so we can see. Yes, it's a little fiddly. I'm going to make sure I have my 2 working yarns. And I'm going to hold my tails in the back. And I'm going to stitch over one time in 1 stitch. I'm going to hold these yarns, these 2 tails. I am going to work over those 2 tails just once. So you don't really see the knot. It's not bad. Then I drop them because I will be weaving these tails in again because I'm not averse. And I don't trust that they won't come out. So I want to make sure that everything is securely woven in. So my pattern was 2 in the first, 2, 1, 1. So in the next stitch I would have 2. One and 1. So whether or not you change your yarn doesn't matter. You know, you change your yarns as you see fit. Go ahead and complete this round using that pattern. And don't worry if this is curled up a little bit. Everything will smooth out and you'll have a nice round dome to your hat, to the crown of your hat. So don't worry if it's curled up a little bit. So go ahead and complete this round and I will meet you at the end. So I made it all the way around the round 5 except for my last stitch. So I will work my final double crochet, and I should have a total of 48 double crochets, and I'm going to slip stitch join. And we will begin round 6. For round 6, you're going to start with a chain 1, and in the next 11 stitches, you're going to work 1 double crochet in each of the next 11 stitches. I'm going to count, make sure that it's 11 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. In the next stitch, you're going to work 2 double crochets. I'm coming to almost finishing up my steel blue heather here. So that's the pattern. You're going to work 11 stitches with just 1 double crochet, and then in the 12th stitch, you're going to add the increase, which is 2 double crochets. So you're going to continue that pattern all the way to the end. I'll meet you at the end, unless I run out of yarn, and I'll meet you for the join. So I ran out of my 4-weight yarn. This was my steel blue heather, and I'm decided that I'm going to add this heather gray as my next 4-weight yarn color. So I will tie my square knot, making sure that I have long enough tails that I can weave in those tails. Let me get this yarn, get this yarn out of the way. And I need to finish my round here. I still have one more repeat to go. So I think I need to make 11 double crochets. Here I'm coming up on my knot. Hold these down. And the knot is in there. I'm going to tug on this, and look at that, it disappears. And I'm going to hold these, the 2 tails down. I'm going to work over them for 1 stitch. Let me see here. Should I be making 2 stitches? Should this be an increase? I think it is. Let me go back and look. Where's my last increase? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, here's my increase right there. So I have 1, 2. Just got to make sure my stitch count stays correct. 1, 2, 3. Then I drop those yarns, and I can tighten that up in the back a little bit. 4. Oh, for Pete's sakes. There we go. Perfect. Here's my 11th stitch. So I have 1 stitch left. In the last stitch, I need to work an increase. So after round 6, you should have 52 double crochet. I'm going to go ahead and join because then I want to measure my crown and see how I'm doing. Really pretty. Ooh, I like those color changes. And I should be right around 8.5 inches. Hopefully I'm there. Looks to be like 8 inches. Let me try one more time. Yeah, it's about 8.5 inches for my crown diameter. So I'm on track. So that round was the last round of the crown, and it's nice and has a lovely dome. It's not flat like the bottom of a cake pan. And the next rounds are going to be the rounds of the body of the hat. So our last round was 52 double crochet stitches. Each round of your body should be 52 double crochet stitches. So to start the first round, you're going to chain up 1 and work one double crochet into each stitch around. Now this is where your stitch marker comes in. Will help you if you do this now before you forget. Mark one of the stitches of your very first round with a stitch marker, because it will just help you count your number of rounds and help you stay on track as you're working as you complete the hat. So what I want you to do now is go ahead and complete this first round, join with a slip stitch join just like you have previously, and I want you to go ahead and work 5 rounds. As you're working, I want you to try on your hat and see how it feels, and see how whether or not you feel it's long enough, or if you need to add a few more rounds to the body to make it long enough. That's going to be up to you. This 6th round is the round that if you're going to be making adjustments to make the hat larger or smaller, this is where we make the adjustments, is in the 6th round, the round before you start your body rounds. So if you want to make a hat that is larger in round 6, you're going to double crochet in the first 7 stitches. Remember how we double crocheted in the first 11? Well, to make a larger hat, you're going to double crochet in the first 7 stitches, and then in the 8th stitch, you're going to add your increase of your 2 double crochet. And you're going to do that 6 times before you slip stitch join, and this will create 54 double crochet stitches as opposed to the 52 double crochet stitches for the medium hat. If you want to make a hat that's smaller in round 6, you're going to double crochet in the first 23 stitches before you add your double crochet increase. And you're going to do that 2 times. So you only have two double crochet increase. You're only going to have 2 increases. And that produces 50 double crochet stitches all the way around. The other ways to make your hat smaller is to use a smaller hook throughout the hat. It might be a challenge, but you probably could use a 6mm hook throughout the hat. It will make your hat stiffer, but it will also make it smaller. If you want to make your hat, another way to make your hat larger is to use your 6.5mm hook throughout the hat. Don't change to the smaller hook sizes as you progress. And you will end up with a larger hat. So along with the stitch counts being different, you can change your hooks to adjust your hat sizes. Okay. So what we need to do now is complete our hat body rounds. And as I said before, if you're making a size medium, you have 52 stitches around. Go ahead and complete 5 rounds, and I will meet you at the end for the join, and we will start the bottom edge rounds. Okay, I made it to the end of my body rounds. I have one more stitch to add in my last body round, and then I'm going to slip stitch to join. So I ended up with 5 body rounds. I tried it on as I went to make sure that it was long enough. I actually had to switch out my 3-weight yarn. I ran out of the Color Fusion 3-weight yarn and went back to the mandala that I started with at the very top of the crown. And then I also ran out of my 4-weight yarn and switched to a light gray, ran out of the light gray, and now I'm on to a medium gray. I don't know if I'm going to have enough to finish the edge rounds, but that's okay because I have another color waiting in the wings if necessary. So now we're going to start the bottom edge rounds, and I have switched to my 6mm hook, and I'm going to chain 1, and you're going to work a single crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So by the time you're done with this first bottom edge round, you should have 52 single crochets. So go ahead and work those single crochets, and I will meet you at the end for the join. I made it to the end of my first round of edge rounds. I'm going to slip stitch join into the first single crochet. Now I'm going to switch to my 5.5mm hook, chain 1, and this is our last, this is round 13, our last edge round, our last round of the hat. You're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around, and hopefully I have enough of this gray to make it all the way around. I'll meet you at the end for the join. I made it to the end of the final round. You should have 52 single crochets in both of these edge rounds. I'm going to slip stitch to join. And lucky me, I won my game of yarn chicken today. Woohoo! So I'm going to fasten off, leave tails, and I'm going to show you all the tails that I have to weave in. Gee, it's pretty. Wow, that's really pretty. Look at that. I really like that. That's beautiful. But you got to see all the tails. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to be weaving in some tails. You know, and the thing is, what's nice is I used up quite a few of my little, like, random balls of yarn in my 3 and 4 weights. And I put it to good use, and it produced this lovely hat that, I mean, it's not like anybody else's. It's unique. And I find that sometimes those scrap projects, they turn out, those are the ones that you get the most compliments on. It's so funny. But as I said before, I do have a written pattern. If you would like the written pattern, leave me a comment, and I'm glad to link it for you. And also, if you found this tutorial helpful at all, and please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And if you need other types of patterns or help with learning how to crochet, I have several other videos that you may find helpful. So check those out. I think I'll link a few in the description. I'm not going to demonstrate how to weave in these ends because that would take probably another, I would say, half hour. So I used a bent tip for my 4-weight yarn, and then I end up using an embroidery needle to weave in my 3-weight yarn ends. I have several to do. So this is Diana from Yarneddies Crochet. And until next time, keep crocheting. And if you're a beginner, don't give up. You're doing better than you think. See you in the next tutorial.